allows us to come down and be part of the Qoli Wawa, to take everybody out, look after everybody while they're out there, and bring everybody back. There is a whole cluster of rocks that you got to create in the shape of a horseshoe, almost basically that. And the fish are driven into that horseshoe by simply pulling on the vines and turning it over each other until you have sort of like a big fence that closes them in. And it's timed with high tide. You start at high tide and you finish at dead low. Qoli Wawa is a traditional method of fishing. One of this significance hasn't happened in many, many years. Whenever a chief dies, after the 100 nights, there is a Qoli Wawa. So it's not something that's new, but this Qoli Wawa is different in that we've got chiefs from all over Vinesh. Yeah, big party. But the main thing of the party is the fish. And this Qoli Wawa, it's a sign of togetherness. It's a show of togetherness, which is marvelous. Bring everybody together for something like this is not an easy thing. Well, the cock crowed half an hour ago. But as they say, Fiji time, we'll get there. Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Going into the bush, cutting that many vines, and then everybody is spending the entire day on the beach here, preparing it. I suppose when you get back, there'll be a lot of kava. Just the way it is. At the moment now, the tide's coming in, so the fish are coming in from outside the reef. They're feeding in. You got to time it just right. Our lifestyles have changed. Education is now a paramount thing. So it's just one of those things. But I think what's important is as we go along, we stay in touch with our traditions. That'll go back to the village heads and straight back to the chief himself. If he wants those traditions to remain and to be practiced, then tell his people about it. And they will then tell their children and practice it through songs and dance. And then when something like this happens, we will consolidate everything. And say, oh yes, this is why we're doing this. For this reason, you don't see this often anymore. The head of the Qoli Wawa is going to talk and prep everybody so that everybody knows their roles, and then everybody go out. There's usually a prayer, there's usually all of that, and then we go out. Who are you as a people? How do you fit into the whole thing? When you study the village system, when you know the village system, everyone has their place. And I suppose when you lose sight of where you stand, then you lose sight of who you are, because this is not a conjugal system, it's a communal system. Everyone works off the other, and then together you create something that is holistic. So knowing where you are is important. You're only as strong as the weakest link. Know your roots, know your traditions, because that is who you are. You can't take it away from me, you can't take it away from anyone.
They honor other people instead of themselves. They can give whatever they have because they have that belief that people are valuable. People are their asset. They exist for people. They don't live for themselves. They live for others. When you connect with them and they value you, you are welcome to their home. Sleep. You can even sleep on their bed and they sleep on the floor. They can provide food that they never eat. They do it for you. And in instances, they can even give you land freely to live in there without any cost. That is a real indigenous cultural value. When you are their friend, they open their hearts to you, not just their home.
Here what you see actually is a traditional Fijian logo. So it's just an open earth oven with stones, put a lot of firewood and then they put the stones and they heat it up. And when the stones are white hot, then whatever they have prepared, like if they killed a beast or maybe a pig, after they are dressed, then when the stones are white hot, they remove all the firewood and then they put whatever it is that they're going to cook, like beast, pork, and then they got dalo, taro they call it, and tapioca. So the logo goes back a long way in the history of this country. Back in the olden days, that's how they used to cook their meal on earth oven. It has its own special South Pacific Island flavor. You gotta eat it to really know what I'm saying. For provincial chiefs like this, chief of the whole of this district, when a chief of that importance dies, what happens is after the ceremony, they have a waiting period of 100 nights. Where they have certain tambus, like for instance, the ocean is in tambu from certain places, like from up Naviako or up around the corner here. You're not supposed to go out into the sea for fishing, diving, or anything like that, or even bathing. After 100 nights, like you see what happened today, the 100th day, they went and opened the tambu. They put long vines and it's got leaves. Do it in a circle and then pile certain rocks in the bottom with a little openings like a dragnet. As they close the vines, fish will go into this. And after today, then the elders will get together, the kingmakers or the chief makers, they'll get together and decide for the next chief of Savusavu.
And I take my hat off to all of those who are part of the Qoli Wawa. I think you've got to give it to them. On the bottom and the deeper side, probably about 8 feet at high tide, they were treading water for 2.5 to 3 hours. That's not easy. So when the vine's on tension, it's a little easier. But you've got to be kicking, treading water, and pulling at the same time. So I think the collective psychological effect brought in by everybody is their strength. So you see someone, if you're feeling weak, and you see someone next to you who's strong, his strength strengthens you. So I think that is what pulled everybody together. That together, I think, is the key. Everybody supports each other, not only physically, but psychologically as well.
In celebration of our of a dynasty, of a chief who had passed on, and the ushering in of a new chief. We saw a difference with this new chief. The son, he's a man of the people. He sits with the people, and he mingles with the people. The people don't come to him, he goes to the people. He sits with them, and he's singing with them, and we love him for that. He's a human. When the old chief died, they go into mourning for usually 100 nights. After 100 nights, then it's the lifting of the mourning period. The chief's children and blood ties, they usually wear black or black ribbon, and they taboo themselves from food. Some don't shave in respect to the chief. And so after 100 nights, when the families come together to remove the black clothes they wear, and the people of Vanua go out and do the Qoli Wawa to get the fish, and they present the fish to the chief family. That is their form of taboo.
If you look back into tradition, certain clans have a certain place. You've got the fishermen, you've got the planters, you've got the builders. Even today, you've still got the clans who are in charge of Qoli Wawa, who are in charge of making the horseshoe out over there on the reef. When you look at it, if the young folk don't do it now, then who's going to do it later? What are they going to use later? Just fish nets? The normal conventional nylon fish nets? What are they going to do? Is it going to be done as nicely as this, or are we going to see certain segments of the Qoli Wawa process being missed out? But I think what's important is, as we go along, we stay in touch with our traditions. That'll go back to the village heads and straight back to the chief himself. If he wants those traditions to remain and to be practiced, then tell his people about it, and they will then tell their children and practice it through songs and dance. And then when something like this happens, we'll consolidate everything. I say, oh yes, this is why we're doing this. You don't see this often anymore. The type of fish, more so impressive. A lot of very, very nice fish. Bream, emperor breams and all of that. So very nice. But in these functions like this, it's not so much the amount of fish or the type of fish, but what it means to the people. I think that should be the most important thing for them in their lives. And the fish is a bonus. So all in all, yes, very, very nicely done. I applaud the efforts of everybody, from the young boys to the old ladies, pulling, hauling. It's not easy, but they did it. I think the Fijians are one of the most beautiful people on earth. And if we keep the traditions while we modernize ourselves and the community, then I think we're on the right path. And if you're going to sacrifice tradition for modernization, then we lose out on the rich culture that we have.
And the chiefly family reciprocates them to thank them with Maleuni Matanika, usually a tambua, kerosene, and material, soul, to thank them for mourning with them during that period and for tabooing the sea and for bringing the fish to the chief. There's an exchange of reciprocation, of respect, of care, of love between the chiefly family and their people.
One woman fainted, a few of the guys got cramps, and there's only one person coordinating the whole effort. One wrong turn and you won't get the fish. I'm glad it went well. And at the end of the Qoli Wawa, we got the fish. Very exciting.
I value what they hold dear, which is people, their relationships and their blood ties, and to serve other people. It's a privilege to serve someone, honor them. When we have to install our current chief, we have to build another chief's house here. And then we'll have to do the ceremony to ask for the current one to be bussed properly and done properly. And then they will start laying the foundation again to build the present one chiefly house. Because after that, then we can install him. Because after we install him, for 4 nights, he has to be inside that house. 4 nights, Bure. Not allowed to come out. Eat, no bath. Stay there for 4 nights. And after 4 nights, then him and those with him will go and bath. There is a pool there in the point. There's a pool. It's called Tombuni Tangane. When it's all dry, you'll see this pool, deep blue. That's where the chief of the Savusavu go and bath after 4 nights. And then they will lift him from there and bring him back here for the celebration.
Sama sila nito ko, naud spirito, nasama sila niya.